So you guys seem to really like the first F2L tricks video, and because I'm such a nice guy, I made a new one. In this video, I'll teach you guys 4 new F2L tricks, and make sure you stick around till the end, as I'm going to give you guys a trick that allows you to skip OLO. So here's the first trick, and it happens when you have your pair in the back and it has to be inserted over here, and you're holding it from this angle. And I actually got this trick from Cubed, and it's a really good trick. So what most people would do is they would rotate and do something like this. And this is good, but in F2L, it's important to minimize your rotations for a more efficient solution. So instead, all you have to do is just wide R prime, U prime, R, U, M prime. And now it's solved. And the reason why this case is so good isn't because it can be mirrored to the opposite side, which it can be, by the way, but because if you've been paying attention to the edge orientation on the top face, you would notice that I have no edges solved. Meaning, if I do it this way, then I'm guaranteed a dot OLO case. However, if I use the alg, then I get at least 2 edges solved, which makes for an easy OLO. And this is the reason why this alg is pretty good. In this next trick, I'm going to give you guys algs for the flipped pair. And I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but it happens when your pair is either facing up or facing down, and it's not in its right slot. So the first case is when the pair is facing down and is right next to the slot where it needs to be inserted. And the best alg for this case is to first move the side with the pair up with F prime, and then it's just L prime, U prime to insert the pair in its slot. And after that, we can just solve the case with L2 prime, push F, L prime. Now it's solved. And the next case happens when our pair is also facing down. However, we have to insert it in the back. And this case is probably my favorite case because all we have to do is just L2 prime, F2, L2, F2. Now it's solved in the back. And now for this case, our pair is facing upwards and it's in the same slot. So all we have to do to solve this is just U prime, sledge, and now this sets up a 3 mover which can be inserted in this slot like so. And finally, our last case happens when our pair is facing up, yet it has to be inserted in the back. And this is a really simple case with just L, F prime, and then after that we can do U, which pairs up the pair. And then to solve it, we can just do L prime, F, like so. And all these cases are super intuitive, so even if you find a new case which has a similar concept, all you have to think about is just taking out the pair, opening the slot, and putting the pair in the slot. This next trick is probably the most underrated trick, and I've seen too many people screw this up. It happens when your corner's on top and your edge is in the back. And dude, I've seen people rotate like 5 times to solve this pair and do random stuff, and it's really not that hard if you know the actual alg. So to solve this case, you do R2, wide U, R2 prime, wide U prime, R2. And to finger trick this case, I like to hold, to regrip first and put my pointer finger on like this edge over here. So after the R2, it's really easy to do the wide U. Then you can just do R2 prime. And now with this finger, you do the wide U prime. Now it's R2. And the good thing about this trick is that it can also be solved into the back. For example, here, our edge is here and our corner's here. And then we have to solve in the back. And it's the exact same case as before, except we just rotated this side. But instead of rotating, all we do is we take the U moves and we switch the order. So it's R2, wide U prime, R2 prime, push, R2. And now it's solved. So here's a last trick, and I like to call it the advanced sexy move. For some context, I think the purpose of F2L is not only to maintain a smooth start to your solve, but it's to set you up for a good OLO and PLO. In order to do that, it's important to look beyond F2L and start looking at your OLO edges in your last pair. Here's a perfect example. Over here, we have no edges solved in our OLO case. And we have a sexy move. So if we do it the normal way, we'll still get no edges solved, and we're forced to do a dot OLO. However, if instead we do 2 sexy moves, 1, 2, it sets up this 3 mover, and if we insert that with the sledge, we then get 2 edges solved and we avoid a .olo case. Now, as promised, this last trick allows you to skip OLO, and it happens when you have a sexy move and your entire yellow face is solved except for the corner on the bottom. This log is actually really easy because it's just a student, except all the R moves in the student are replaced for R2 moves. So I like to start by re-gripping. So it's just R2, U prime, R2 prime, and then I like to push with this ring finger. R2, U2, R2 prime. Now OLO skipped, and we can have an easy PLO. So that's about it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you like this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.